Garrett. I'm a senior program officer with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. At the foundation, I lead a portfolio on learning, innovation, and technology in higher education. And so this panel is about breaking the mold and putting the pieces together again. We've heard about two themes, I think, throughout the morning. One is the challenges that face higher ed, and there are a lot of them. Challenges from attainment. We need dramatically greater success. Challenges around relevance. Demographic challenges as enrollments grow. Diversity of student, non-traditional students, low academic preparation grows, and challenges of funding as we see, hundreds of over $100 billion in deficits in state budgets. So one theme are the set of challenges that higher education is facing. The other thing we've seen are all these great new technology tools. And the question is, how do those two things come together? How do we use the technology as a tool?
Can you
not really hear me?
Questions for?
Yeah, it's kind of loud. We didn't make it very far into the hallway. We just made it to the doorway. All right. I will project. My wife doesn't let me talk on the cell phone in the car because my voice is so loud. So that's never been a problem for her. So we have these two themes of the morning. One are the challenges facing higher education, and two are all these exciting, promising technology tools. And the question is, how do we put them together? And the question I would raise for this session is, how ready are our historical models of higher education for the challenges of the next decade? And I thought as an introduction, I would just reference a report that if folks haven't read, I recommend you read because it actually answers that question I just asked. It's called the Iron Triangle. It's a report that the Lumina Foundation funded with Public Agenda and the National Center. And it really asked over 30 college presidents who said, what are the challenges facing higher education? How are you going to address them? What's the situation you face? And here's the summary of what they said. They said, in the view of many college and university presidents, the three main factors in higher education, cost, quality, and access, exist in what we call an iron triangle. These factors are linked in an unbreakable reciprocal relationship such that any change in one will inevitably impact the others. Most of the presidents believe that if one wants to improve the quality of higher education, one must either put more money in the system or be prepared to see higher education become less accessible to students. Conversely, cutting costs in higher education must eventually lead to either cuts in quality or access. That's a pretty dismal picture. And in fact, if it's true, if we truly do live in an iron triangle, that means there's no room for innovation. There's no way to, as the morning panelists, when we were talking about bagels and bandwidth, asked, how can we do more with the resources we have? If we're stuck in this iron triangle, we may as well just go home or at least resolve ourselves to waiting for budgets to improve. So what's really exciting about the folks that we have on this panel is they're actually breaking that iron triangle. They are demonstrating the ability to change the production function, use those technology tools to not just enhance and layer on the existing educational system, but to use them to reimagine the underlying processes, organizational structures, instructional models, and to put them back together in ways that are indeed improving quality, expanding access, in many cases reducing costs. So it's the very dynamism and that's who we all are. It's the very dynamism and diversity of higher education that is pointing the way to these models. And we think at the foundation, as I know many of you do, think that we're really looking into the future here. And as there's an oft-quoted quote, that the future is already here, it's just not very evenly distributed. And so we think that these models are exciting, promising, and the big challenge is raising them up, learning from them, and ultimately figuring out how to bring them to greater scale. So with that, I will shut up, and I will just move us into the panelists. I've asked each of them to just give us 3 or 4 minutes, very quick. I might ask one question, and then we're going to start lining up and begin the dialogue. So we want this to be a conversation. We want you to be able to ask them what the heck they're doing, learn from them, and hopefully be inspired by redefining the art of what's possible here. So we're going to begin with Carol Stillman. Carol's the Senior Business Development Manager for Higher Education at Cisco Systems. Carol?
Great. Can you hear me? This is not on. What do I need to do?
Just pull it toward you.
Pull it toward me? How's that? It's still not on.
Here we go.
You can hear me? Want me to use yours?
Use yours.
Okay. Thanks. We're going to share up here.
Share.
We're going to share up here. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Public-private partnership there.
We have a public-private partnership going on already, breaking the mold. Excellent. Thank you, Josh, and thank you all for having me here today representing Cisco. My name's Carol Stillman. I'm a Senior Business Development Manager at Cisco, and I'm responsible for fostering initiatives in higher education that actually drive new business models. So when the organization approached us to participate, we thought, well, isn't this interesting? Because this is actually one of the things that we're spending a fair amount of time working on. So just to highlight a couple points here of what we see at Cisco, and then what I'm going to do is move right into a video that I have brought that's actually demonstrating some of this change of a changing business model within a university. So at Cisco, for a long time now, we've held the belief that both education and technology are really the two great equalizers in life. And currently, as we look at what's happening with the internet and we look at the collaboration and the mobile technologies that are converging, we're able to really start to see the barriers start to drop. Whether those are barriers across a university campus or whether those are barriers across the globe, we're seeing the ability for information access anytime, anywhere, with the goal of any device actually becoming a reality. So as we see education and technology actually going hand in hand with the network, of course we're Cisco, so we believe the network does power everything, but the network functioning as the platform, the various technologies are functioning on top of that network. But one of the things that I think is really critical, and I believe Karen alluded to that this morning for those of you that were here at 8 o'clock this morning, is that the solutions that we're looking at is not the technology. It is not the technology. The solutions lie in what the technology can enable. And it's that enablement that we believe really is creating or expanding the hope and the opportunity for us all to really create a better learning society. And in that learning society, where we actually do have the type of collaboration tools that will allow people to come together and allow people to really share information, to share knowledge, to be able to really create and innovate in new and creative ways, whether that's through data, voice, or video, is becoming a reality. So as I said, one of the things I wanted to share with you here, and then I'm going to move into this video, is the future of looking at new business models. And the fact that, as Josh had indicated, when we think about the iron triangle coming together, the mere fact that that's happening is a forcing function that the business models have to change. And for these business models to change, it means that across the institution, whether it's the administration, whether it's the faculty, or whether it's the students, they have to look at how they work together and do things together differently. So let me move into this video here, and hopefully, if Christian is here,
So how does the faculty member take advantage of that, but feed the necessary content into that so that the technology, again, does not take over, but becomes an enabler?
Increasingly, what we're finding are courses that are experimenting in the way the information is delivered outside of class, and then a change in dynamic of what's occurring in the classroom.
The professor would pre-record a video for a topic that we're going to discuss and either ask us to watch it before class or watch it after class, whereas he does a more interactive approach to it in class.
So you make the classroom the place where those questions get really engaged, and you get the fact-based material taught elsewhere.
4 or 5 years ago, we started recording course lectures. So we've been working with Cisco to find ways to make that available. We're using some of the Cisco technologies, Show and Share, and their MXE product, so that we can automatically transcode and transcribe it. A student can search for a concept from that course and from other courses where it might have been covered, or from prior semesters.
The context within which younger people learn is being very much more driven by access to information. They've got richer source of access. And secondly is how they actually collaborate to make meaning together. So they actually leverage the technology in much more collaborative ways through platforms like Facebook or MySpace.
When I saw Cisco Quad the first time, I was really excited because it addressed the issue of, well, why don't you just